Are you ready?
Starting now?
Now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober, Not Mature.
Hi there.
And, yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, all you woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day. See, I knew I could make you laugh. I had that planned, and they're gonna put
cold outside.
It's cold out there. It's cold out there everywhere. Every day.
Every day. Over and over and over.
And of course, welcome our friends to another episode of Sober Not Mature. There we go. So yeah, I kind of had that planned out anyhow, but yeah, when Mike and I just connected, literally, we usually connect for about 7 seconds, and then it's like, yeah, you good? I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good. Let's go.
And he had this in his voice, and I'm like, I'm about to make my friend laugh. So
yes, you did.
But yeah, so yeah, what was the deal? So the fucker I don't even know what it is. Did the fat fuck see a shadow? Did not see a shadow?
I believe he saw it.
So that it's early spring, but I never know which is which. But
I don't know. Yeah, right. The rat saw his shadow, and so winter will be over with soon. I don't know.
Right.
Or it won't.
Early spring means what? The 18th of March, 19th of March, maybe.
Shit. Right.
I mean, every year it's I don't know. They were talking about it on the radio. They do every year, and
It'll
kind of make
snow in fucking April. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I mean, in Wisconsin, and this is a whatever you want to call it, a written or weather fact or whatever. There's literally only 3 months out of the year that in the Milwaukee area, at least, and certainly up north, that there hasn't been measurable snowfall, and it's June, July, August. So. All the way through May, I remember plenty of snowstorms in May, and September, not as much, but I mean, it's happened. So
right,
yeah. I mean, it says spring on the calendar on March 20th or 21st or whatever the deal is, but that's usually what comes out of fucking Groundhog Day. Oh, 6 more weeks of winter. That's what Bill Murray makes that comment. Oh, I'm predicting March 16th or no, he says March 20th or whatever he says. You know, so. Yeah, but so anyhow, whatever. But so obviously, I know we've got your reading. I got some things to talk about. I got back from a trip. I want to talk about that. I went to a couple of meetings while I was down there. So, checked out the secret society in a different area, and then
nice.
Had a little bit. The travel was fine, but I'll get to it. And then went to a funeral this week. I think obviously you know that, and I did a post on that too. So I'd like to just talk about a couple of things with that, and then. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever the fuck else we want to talk about. Oh, I started a new job on Monday. So, yeah. Got that all coming up. So, yeah, I'm going to be a working man again.
It's about fucking time.
I know. You know what? That kind of, all that stuff is what it is. And, well, I'll talk about it. No regrets, but we'll talk about it. So, But now, hey, Mike, let's do a reading. Mike, back to you. No, wait. I'm sorry. Mike, over to you.
Well, thanks, Bill.
Well, thanks, Bill. Let's do a reading now.
Let's do our reading. Let's not. No, let's do it. One jumped out at me this week, but I think I've already read it. It was dog-eared, and it sounded familiar, so I had no clue what I was going to do, so I sat my ass down here and flipped through the book and came up with this one. July 31st. I wish it was July 31st. It's not, though. Patience, my friends, patience. All right. How can I believe in a higher power? I was taught that God is just an idea that weak people use as a crutch. Alcoholics Anonymous member said that. I may have said that once or twice in my life. Anyway, after we admit how serious our addiction is, we have to face our fear and sadness. Without the help of a higher power, we are hopeless. That is why we must each find a higher power that can give us the help that we need. Some of us don't like step 2 because we think it asks us to believe in somebody else's idea of God. It doesn't. It doesn't even ask us to believe in our own idea of God. The most important thing is to find a higher power, not necessarily the higher power, to help us stay sober. One that can teach us to succeed in sobriety, and one that we trust. We don't have to understand this higher power. We just have to believe that it works. Prayer for the day. Higher power, I ask you to come into my life and show me how to trust and understand you. Today's action. Today, I will make a list of 3 people or things that know more about recovery than I do. I will circle the one I trust the most. So,
is that why we're getting together? Because, me, you trust me?
Well, yeah, I do trust you. I don't know why. I don't have to understand it. I just do.
Yeah, and that is the thing. And we, so that's kind of funny because we've talked about that plenty of times that, the two of us, and there's not many people. I mean, a lot of people can say it, but people that have been around each other for this amount of time in sobriety, that, with the exception of a couple of days before you got to the Keating Center while I was there, I mean, we have literally been together, and been on the same path since day fucking one.
Right.
same same fucking place. Not the same feelings when we went in there, but if you want to listen back to what was that, episode 4 about our first 30 days,
Right.
Mike's impression, and when he walked in there all fucking happy and I'm done, and I'm like, motherfuck me. But that's okay, because again, we came in, two different sides of the road and ended up in the same path. But so going through all that stuff, it's funny how you see things, or I see things, or I have, or you have, or I have not, or you have not. And it just goes to show that, there are so many different ways to get this thing, but the key there is to rely on other people. That's the biggest thing. Obviously listen and try to learn and try to retain and all those sort of things. But, being around people that can sometimes put it into different words than what you're hearing is everything, right? I mean, I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, clearly our way of doing things and thinking about things wasn't working out too well. So we need some new, fresh ideas and some new, fresh actions to take. Right.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, not just between you and I, but all the different people that we know and that we have known, and all the stories and the leads that we heard, and these little pieces of information that, happened, years ago when we were 30, 60, 90 days sober, that we hold on to, and still remember. I mean, they're meaningful, but they weren't necessarily the book knowledge. They were the people that had walked the path and said, hey, this is how I did it. Or they said it, like I said, they almost in layman's terms, I guess, if you put it that way. Not that, I mean, if you read through the big book, I don't think it's hard to understand. It's not like,
no.
I mean, I've read in the past, bits and pieces of the Bible, not a lot, and I've read Shakespeare because I had to. It's not like reading either one of those, but sometimes when you're reading it, it's still just the black and white words don't make sense, but somebody's like, no, it's this simple.
Yeah, right. This is what it means. This is how you apply it to your life.
Yeah, could it be that simple, right?
Yes, it can.
Fuck it. I just didn't know. But so what I wrote down was God is a crutch, and I think the way that read to begin with was, a lot of people said that the whole higher power thing, and people looked at it as just other people using God as a crutch. Am I correct at how that was worded? Okay.
Yeah, right. Weak people. Need the magic man who lives in the sky to get them through their day.
Right. And I mean, I suppose it is. I mean, there's a matter of hope and faith that people have, and whether they place it in. I mean, it's not us, And when I was at the funeral, I mean, I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But so that particular thing, looking at that picture in the building with the steeple and the guy with the beard and all that stuff, that's not our thing. But I mean, we have hope and faith in a thing, even if we can't. We've said it before. No, I have. I can't draw a picture of what my fucking higher power is. I don't know what it is.
Right.
I know it's there. It's got to be there, right?
Right. I mean, and it's funny. The deeper I get into this thing, the more and more the program is a power greater than myself for me. It really is. It doesn't. Again, said it a million times on here. I'm an atheist. That's what I am. I don't believe in all the mumbo jumbo and the magical stuff, and that's fine. If you do, cool. Great. But I need practical stuff. I need, like I've said a million times, I don't believe in the supernatural. I don't believe in metaphysical. Natural and physical are pretty fucking amazing to me, and it's enough for me.
Right.
But I mean, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, with the principles that it entails and the actions that you have to take and all that, it's all not me. It's all bigger than me and more powerful than me. And it is a power greater than me.
Right.
And that's enough. Yeah.
Right.
It is enough for me.
Yeah, we just have our services and clubs and church basements instead of a building with a steeple on it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, we're just underneath the room that they do that in.
Yeah, and that I really, I guess stepping back and thinking about that. I mean, I know we always joke about it, but I thought that was a little weird, when I first started going to meetings, because I remember I went to meetings with, and Kathy and I went to meetings with our dad every once in a while, and even in my when I worked for him, so I was, 17, 18 years old, 18, 19, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
was. We went to, me and him and his buddy Stu, who I've talked about a little bit,
Right.
used to go to meetings, and it would be I don't think we went to, I don't remember. I remember being in, when I was a kid, being in big smoky rooms, almost like,
Right.
I remember it was like a restaurant area we might have met in one time, or like a banquet hall, or that sort of thing. Which is,
Right.
if you remember, like Heating Men's and stuff used to be at
Right.
that.
Yeah. It was at the Knights of Columbus Hall.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
same type of setup, type of thing like that. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, I don't know, I thought it was weird that it was in a church, but it was not supposed to be, a religious thing. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember having a problem with it. It just,
Right.
as I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, we're in a fucking church, church
Right.
in a church basement, But yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just, it's, and sometimes you're sitting there and you're sitting in the area where they have Sunday school. So, you
Mm-hmm.
see Jesus up on the wall, you see the
Oh,
God
sure.
sayings and all that sort of
Yep.
things. And do you remember? And God, I think I brought it up on here, but either way, if I don't remember, nobody else is going to fucking remember. So
Right.
when I first started working, the first job that I had, not my real job, but the factory
Mhm.
one, when I worked
Right.
Third shift, the 3 to 11, the only meeting I could go to was 7 a.m. and it was up on, I can't think of the fucking road it was.
Lorraine.
But Lorraine, there you go.
Yep.
And that was at a church, and it was in one of the
Right.
meeting rooms and things like that. And I mean, literally, like right next to, where the whole open church area was.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, it was, cafeterias, table set up, kind of horseshoe set up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I mean, I think I went to an evening meeting there a few times.
Oh, did you?
So,
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
know
it
the
was,
church. Right.
it was nice. It was a nice
Yeah.
little discussion meeting, and that was an AA sanctioned meeting, but it was in a church, and there happened to be Bibles or something like that, either in the room or on the table or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And a number of people complained about it, and
Yep.
AA removed them from they removed them from being a sanctioned meeting because they were being accused of bringing religion into the program.
Really?
Yeah, and I was fucking blown away by that. I'm like, wait, what? And the meeting was like, they still held the meeting. They just they weren't going to be in the book anymore or anything like that. And I remember them announcing it. And because my first thought was like, fuck, this is the only meeting I can get to. What the fuck,
Right.
And they didn't stop meeting. They were no longer advertised, through central office and this and that. And at the time, I thought it was shitty. And now I think it's even more shitty.
Yeah, right. That is shitty.
And it was just, there was never, there's more God talk in a general AA meeting, any fucking general AA meeting that I go to than I remember in that particular meeting. And nobody brought up a Bible and like, or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
But some motherfucker or motherfuckers, plural, complained about it. And yeah, they got stripped of their, their AA standing.
Yeah, but they met anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, they said, fuck them. We're still going to meet. We're just not on the schedule anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I ever talked about that on here. But from your reaction, you sure as fuck don't remember. I know that.
No, right. And I probably shit, man. If I'd have been going to that meeting regularly, like, whatever, and then had done that, I would have continued to go to that meeting.
Right.
Yeah. This atheist would. Right.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit, man. I mean, that's one of the things I like about AA is it's run from the bottom up.
Right.
It's supposed to be. And Jesus, man, somebody complained that there was a Bible in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, right. My home group is the basement of a big ass old Catholic church. And, there's crucifixes all over the place and, big giant St. Patrick picture of him. And, I ignore it. Or,
right.
Yeah, it's just there.
Well, you haven't, you've been going to that for like, almost 14 years. I don't think you haven't even melted walking into the building yet, have you?
No. Well, it wasn't a Lutheran church when I first started going, so that was a little easier. It was in a gymnasium there, so right, but they went back to their original meeting place, because the Catholic Church had closed down for a while, and they opened it back up, and because they, I don't know, weren't making enough money or something, but apparently they are now. But yes, that's right. And like you said, there's a regular generic whatever AA meeting, yeah, there's going to be plenty of people in there talking about God and even a few about Jesus. And,
Oh yeah.
So what?
Yeah. And in some, it's a fucking lot, but
Yeah,
it's just one
right.
of those things where I'm like, oh, okay, we get it. You're a God
Yeah.
guy. I got you.
Yeah, right.
There you
Gotcha.
go.
Cool.
Rock on,
Yeah.
God guy.
Yep.
But so back to the reading though, and a couple of things that said, hopeless without a higher power,
Mm-hmm.
obviously having to find a higher power. That's something that we were told. And once again, we've talked about this plenty of times, that
Right.
the simplest thing that I heard was from our very, very good friend Dan.
Right.
Wherever he's resting, let him rest in peace.
Right.
And just said, hey, just know it's not you. And he even offered to to lend
Right.
all of us his higher power, because he's like, I have a higher power. He goes, if you want to borrow mine, he goes, until you find one of your own. And I laugh at it now, but at that time, I'm like, what a fucking gesture that was.
Yeah.
Just that, well, he was a good dude to begin with. And he was
Mhm.
one that, along with, hundreds of other people, but he knew how to get this across to people who had just, fucking wide eyed, had no fucking idea what was going on.
Mhm.
That here, just relax. It's not
Yeah.
you. You can borrow mine. It's cool,
Right.
But then, I wrote down the word trust. Obviously, we have to trust in something, that something
Mhm.
else is there, which I trusted Dan,
Right.
not even knowing him that well, but then, believing that it works. And the only way that I think either one of us, but I'll speak for myself, is the only way that I came to believe that it worked was seeing it work in other people's lives, and then
Mhm.
listening to them and being like, settle the fuck down, stay over, don't stress about this shit. It will work
Mhm.
out. And then
Mhm.
it did. And then it did
Mhm.
again. And then it
Right.
did again. And believe me, and I said this a few weeks ago, whenever it was, with this whole goddamn job search, my stress level doesn't change, and it hasn't changed in almost 14 years. But
Mhm.
um, I know how, I don't even know how to I don't know how to make myself feel better, except for saying, fuck it, somebody else's will, not mine. That's all I could do now,
Right.
and just go to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
again, yeah, the faith and the trust that, if you do the right thing, it's gonna work out. It may not work out the way you wanted it to, but it's going to work out and it's gonna be okay. That's all that matters.
right.
Yeah, right. Again, faith and trust, it's going to work out, probably not the way I want it to, but that's okay too. It's still going to be okay in the long run. I'm going to keep breathing. I'm going to be relatively comfortable. I'm going to eat. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to, right. It's going to be okay. I'm not going to be out on the street starving. It's going to be fine.
Right. And
Something's going to work out.
and usually you're the one that says this all the time, is usually it turns out better than what we thought,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it all falls into place sooner or later. But I'm telling you, no fucking joke, I have no patience. Okay, I have very little patience, and it's
Mhm.
really hard for me. And Mike laughs because he knows.
Right.
But I have to talk about it because it's so ridiculous to me. But it does. I was getting so stressed out. But it's not the
Mhm.
first time. I can get
Mhm.
stressed out about things like that, because these are life things. But still, I kept doing everything, did the work, doing it, have the
Yeah.
faith, you know.
Mhm.
Every night when I'm doing my prayers, fuck it, dude, your will, not mine. Whatever you are, it's your will. I guess I'll go to
Right.
sleep now. I mean, okay, what am I? What
Mhm.
else am I going to do?
Yeah,
Drink,
exactly. Right. Yeah, that'll make it better.
right? Hey, what sounds like a good idea? Ruining my life again.
Yeah.
Note to self: you can ruin your life again. Meh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with this whole higher power stuff, is that I mean, sometimes it's all we have to do. No, not even sometimes. All the time, all we have to do is get out of our own way, and
Mhm.
let trust the process, and that's it. That's why I just wrote down the word trust. And
Mhm.
believing it works is you have to pay attention to other people in your
Right.
circle, in your group. You have to watch other people. You have to see the other miracles, if we want to put it that way,
Mhm.
or just see the other progress in people. Hey,
Yeah.
and I'm not of the opinion, and I've said this before, if I can do it, you can do it. Fuck that. That doesn't happen, because you got to do the work. But if I
Mhm.
see somebody doing the work and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to do the same thing, I'm going to do that work the same way, I should get a relatively same or close to the same, relatively
Right.
speaking, result, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Energy in, energy out.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that. Yeah, to begin with, that I had muted already when you said, what was this, July 31st? You wish it was July 31st. I laughed. I did. I laughed because, yeah, and that's, and I could talk about my trip a little bit because the weather was nice down there. But, but so anything else with the reading at all, or you good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I liked it. I mean, I know I say that every week, and it's not bullshit. I mean, I've said countless times that, when we do this, I'm really glad that we do this reading. It's it's a really good way to start off. Same thing, starting off our day, starting off this episode. And on top of it is that 9 times out of 10, I mean, I got a couple of pages of notes here all the time, and I've got ideas of things I want to talk about. But
Sure.
I really enjoy the conversations that we have, when it comes to that. And hopefully,
Right.
well, I hope everyone else does too.
Well, yeah.
And if
you don't, you know what to do.
Yeah, if you don't, well, fuck it, man. Because I was going to bring that up too, and I was watching because our last couple of episodes, that the one from last week with Ginny and Amanda, and our one from 2 weeks ago, it's like these episodes are struggling to get to that 100 100 plays, which was our norm, in a 7-day period, but. And part of it I'm like, I don't know. It's, we look in the summertime and people are busy, and then, but it's, I don't know. It is what it is. So, not something I'm stressing about, but it's a curiosity type of thing. And then, I say something like that, and then we're both like, yeah, fuck it, then don't listen.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Oh, a couple of things, like this is a quick program note. So when we had, Carly and Breeze on. So if everyone remembers, Breeze is the one that did the little out music for us at the end of the episode. If you don't listen to it after we say our goodbyes, you should. It's fun. She did a great job. But we did an episode with them. God, was that 6 months ago now? It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
But Carly was working on a book, and we had told her that when it was released, we tried to figure out a time to have her back on. So I saw on Instagram, I don't know if it was yesterday, but I saw it for sure today. Her book's out now, and I think it's the audio book. So I sent her a text and I said, hey, obviously let's figure out a time. We don't have anything scheduled over the next few weeks. And I'm just trying to verify it. But she had said next Friday, which I think she means like the 9th. So this coming Friday, not today, but a week from today. Right. And then what I told her was, I said, you know what? I said, why don't we do this? I said, come on for like the first half hour. When we take our break, you can head out. You can have the first 30 minutes or 40 minutes to, talk up your book and whatever, and then go out with your night. So cool. I thought, I don't know, we'll try something different. We don't necessarily have to keep her for the entire hour, or hour and a half for the entire time frame. But I'm like, hey, in my head, I'm like, maybe that's a new, like an accidental format that we're going to have, that other dreaded F word, format.
Yeah, format.
Format. Playoffs. but yeah, so she said yeah, but I texted her back just to clarify it. If that's the case, I'll promote it up this week. But yeah, if not this week, next week we're gonna have Carly on again. So take a look back. It was Carly and Breeze, and I can't remember. I could probably look, but I'll look at it a little bit. Then I can figure out what episode. But yeah, she's got a book now, and she's doing a lot of trying to promote it, and just helping out some friends or a friend. So yeah.
Right, cool.
But nothing else on the reading, right?
No, I'm looking up Carly and Breeze episode.
Okay, and then real quick, I just wanted to ask you: have you heard the new Black Crowes song, "Wanting and Waiting"?
I have not.
Look it up, because it popped up on Spotify. Again, sometimes they show new releases and things like that, or maybe they were talking about it on the radio. But it's one where if you just heard the song, you'd know right off the bat it's a Black Crowes, and I like it. I mean, it's kind of snappy, it's got that snappy beat to it.
It's got a good beat, and you can dance to it.
It does. But yeah, no doubt it's classic Black Crowes sound and everything. Like you could even tell the music opening up before he even opens up his mouth. I think I would know, right away that it was a Black Crowes. But yeah, so there I was looking up. I mean, they're touring. They're touring this summer. I would love to be. Have you ever seen them or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to. I never have. They had I think the year of the pandemic they were gonna do,
Right.
what was it, the Shake Your Moneymaker thing? Their concert
Yeah.
was just redoing that album, right?
Right.
Covered all
And
the
they were
stuff.
supposed to tour with Aerosmith, and that fell through
Oh
because,
yeah,
those guys are all fucking old and decrepit and fucked up on drugs. So, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean I haven't really paid too much attention to it or looked into it, but yeah, I thought that they'd be, I don't know. I think you'd enjoy it. I know you like the Black Crowes, so
I do.
that was a complete side note, having nothing to
It
do with
was.
anything. But you know what, kids? That's what the fuck we do around here.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're curious, Carly and Breeze was episode 83.
Okay. God, that's been a while ago. Shit. Wow. Okay. So yeah, go back and listen to episode 83. You'll hear both of them. They both have a fun story, and again how they met and how they got together, and individually have great stories. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Carly's been working on this stuff and working pretty hard. So once again, we see these people out there. These and they're young. And not just young by age, but young in sobriety. Some
Right.
people out there that are out there doing the thing and kicking some ass doing this stuff. We want to help them out. So
Absolutely. Cool.
all right. So do you want to hear about my little brief thing about my trip? You feel like
Sure.
Okay. So I had mentioned it kind of on a couple weeks ago, I think, towards the end of the episode, that I had just decided to take a what the hell type of trip, and booked a trip down through Airbnb through Myrtle Beach, and it was. I don't know. I'm trying to do the math and all that stuff, and on when I could leave and when I could get down there. It's like a 14-hour drive, and I could check in at 4 p.m. on Thursday, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, I was going to leave at like midnight, and midnight here, which had been 1, doing the math, this and that. And I'm like, fuck it. If I get there early and it was supposed to be nice weather-wise, I'm like, I'll just fucking kick around in the nice weather,
Right.
why not, So I left it a little bit before 5 p.m. this time. So again, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And, this whole foggy thing that was going on. So I hit a little bit of fog coming out of here, and I'm going down. First of all, I'm going down 65, and I use Waze, and it's like pothole ahead. And I'm like, oh, and I see this truck hit this fucking pothole. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Another couple of miles, pothole ahead. Waze is notifying me, and it's doing this, and I'm like swerving, trying to miss it. I mean, these are big fucking. I mean, these are monstrous fucking potholes, And I'm not kidding you. Like every 2-3 miles. So I pull off, and I'm like only a half hour into my trip, and I'm trying to look at, any place I can cut over. Because to begin with, I had planned on going, out like Route 30 and stuff like that and heading out that way.
Right.
But it rerouted me. It was probably quicker or whatever. So I ended up going that way. So first time I'm like, I can't see an easy way to cut over. So I'm like, fuck it, it'll be fine. I keep going, pothole coming up, pothole coming up, pothole. I'm driving like another half hour, and it's foggy and it's dark. I'm like, I hit a couple of them too. And I mean, fucking hard. And I'm like,
Right.
either I'm going to blow a tire or throw out my front, whatever. So I pull off again, and I'm looking, I'm like, I don't give a fuck where I'm going. I'm just going to start going east
Yep.
until Waze puts me into, some other thing. Because it kept like for, I don't know, 45 minutes or half hour, tried to reroute me back to 65, right? So finally got around it. But I mean, it's foggy as fuck. I'm behind this truck, thankfully. Finally get around it. I lose like 45 minutes of time there, which is not a big deal. So driving down there, and I think I told you when you and I had talked after the last episode, there was a couple of points that as I'm driving, I'm like, I can't see, and as I get on, these like freeway areas, and I'm like, fuck it, man. If some animal jumps out in front of me, I'm like, I'm never going to fucking see him. So I'm like, whatever, man. Boom, just fucking cruising. And then, I ended up going through like West Virginia and into Virginia. And I knew I was in like a mountainous area, but it's dark and it's a little foggy. And I'm going up and down these, these hilly roads and shit like that, which is kind of cool. But, I'm looking up to the side and I'm like, God, I got to come back this way so I could see this shit,
Right.
Because you can see there's fucking mountains all over you. So I get through all that and I get down there about, I know it's like whatever time I texted all you guys, it was like, I think 8:30 in the morning. And at this point I had been up 24 hours. Right.
Right.
And I got up at 8 because I had the meeting with Elise and the guys from Night of Recovery and all that stuff. So I did that, and I figured I'd lay down. I did lay down for like a couple hours. I don't think I slept, maybe a half hour, So get in there and I ate some lunch and did whatever. And it's one of those things where, I don't know, I reached down to grab something and I'm like, my equilibrium's all off. I'm like, fuck me, because I'm like, I've been up for at this point, after I ate and stuff. I mean, I'm up for like, now it's like 28 hours. I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to go to sleep. I was able to get an early check-in, so I check into the place, and then I had to go to the grocery store, and I figured get something for dinner that night, and just kind of kicking around, checking shit out, and it was fucking beautiful. I took a walk on the beach the whole bit. By the time I went to bed, which was like 10 o'clock, I had literally been up for like 38 hours.
Nice.
and first of all, at that point, I'm just like, I'm drinking coffee, I mean,
of course,
the entire time. So I'm buzzed up. I'm tired. I'm like, I'm not delusional yet, but I'm just like, I almost like don't feel good, like, first of all, when's the last time I stayed up even 24 hours? I was drunk. I know that much. But, so I don't think I've stayed up that all night since I've been sober,
Right.
But got a decent night's sleep and stuff like that, and just kind of kicked around and hit some of the beaches and did all that stuff. I went to a meeting on Friday, went to a meeting on Saturday. So the AA meetings I went to, and they were at a clubhouse, and they were noon meetings, and I was actually in North Myrtle Beach. Have you been? I am assuming you have been in that area.
Yeah, does some, not a lot, not like that close to the ocean. I've been all over the Carolinas and all that stuff, but yeah, never like actually in Myrtle Beach, I don't think.
And I wasn't sure. I just know you've been mostly, usually when I'm like, if you've been there, you're like, of course I have.
Right.
But so I was in North Myrtle Beach, from literally to get from North Myrtle Beach down to Myrtle Beach, like where the state park was and things like that I went to. It's like, I don't know, 16 or 17 miles, but takes you a good 35, 40 minutes to get there, because it's a business road, kind of like, like you're on the highway and it's like, oh, take business 101. And that's all. So it's all the shops, all the restaurants, all the fucking bars and all that. And all the fucking
touristy shit.
Oh yeah. All the stoplights. So, but I hit these meetings and, noon meetings on both Friday and Saturday. Really nice group of people, and I think there was probably, I'd say, 40 to 50 people in these meetings. Age groups, I would say anywhere between, I saw people probably in their 20s all the way up to easily in their 70s or 80s.
Right.
Sober time. Well, these were both considered to be beginners groups, which I didn't know but I was kind of glad. It was nice,
Sure.
And the meeting on Saturday, I think there was 7 people that came up to get the white chips, which I thought was cool. This one chick, because they do a count up too, like all the way up to, 1 year. And the number of people, in that, there's probably both days, I don't know, 12 to 15, 17 people, that were under that year period. And most of them under 6 months, so, which is cool. And this one chick, she's like, I don't even think I've got 24 hours, and saying the trouble she had and this and that. She starts crying and whatever, troubles with her marriage and her kids and all that stuff. But so you see some of that. Then this lady, the Saturday meeting was like a speaker meeting, but then they open it up for comments. And the Friday meeting was a topic meeting to read from reflections or whatever it was, and then they do a discussion on it. But I mean, it was nice. They open up with the preamble, how it works, and then the promises. Both meetings, they do the count up, they do the coins at the end, for anyone up to a year, and so they do that, and then I'm trying to think anything else that would be. They don't do a raffle. We didn't do raffles,
right?
That's just kind of a side joke, but But no, it was nice. I mean, it was just one of those things where, what they do, they're like, hey, oh yeah, they have everyone, all meetings like that. Everyone goes around the room and introduces themselves. They're like, hey, if you're visiting or from out of town, say where you're from and that sort of thing. So, both times like, hey, welcome, when I said it, there's a few other people, handful of people there that were visiting. But the thing that I said before, and I know you've done it before too, is that even though I don't go to a lot of meetings, that's one of my things. When I travel, I love to go to meetings in different areas. First of all, because you can always use a meeting, right? I mean,
sure.
I can't deny that. But I love to see AA in different areas, and they just have they just had it. It was a good meeting. It wasn't one where I'm just like, if they would have done things this way, because I could be judgy.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, really?
Well, I mean, both of us can based on where we came from. With
Absolutely.
the Cleveland meetings, but no, they were just it was really nice. Just a nice group of people. And it was just, it was a good time. I'm glad I went. On Sunday. I did basically nothing, so I didn't go to a meeting. But the weather was nice. I mean, it was up and down between the low 60s to it was like the mid 80s on Sunday. Sunday was the nicest day, and then when I left on Monday, I think it was like 43 degrees and the wind kicked up, and I'm like, holy fuck!
Yep, time to get out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So my opinion of Myrtle Beach and that whole area, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I think I would probably want to drive myself off a cliff if I were there in the summertime. Because I think it would be it took me long enough to get anywhere I wanted to go just because of all the stoplights, and just the number of people that are there. I can't even imagine. It's anything you could think of a touristy area.
Right.
It's got to be just crazy. During the summertime.
Good to know, because I'm probably going down there like the end of May, beginning of June. So yeah.
Right. Well, and here, hang on. Sorry, I cleared my throat. But the thing of it is just if I were to go, I would love to be what I would like. And Sunday was probably, even though I kicked around and I went to the restaurant on Saturday night, which was nice. I mean, but it was so foggy. It was hard to see certain things. I didn't get I don't think the full effect of like the piers that were there, and those were under construction. So I couldn't walk out on all those long piers. That was from the hurricanes, apparently. That they're doing construction on that stuff. And then, you just couldn't get I couldn't really get what I felt, decent views of things because of the fog. But still, I was literally like from where I was staying, it was 100 yards, if that, from the fucking ocean. It was great,
right.
But what I would do, I think, if I were there in the summertime, because the difference between that and like the Ozarks, I think I could go back to the Ozarks and have an endless amount of things to go and places to go, because all the different ins and outs of the lakes and all the different trails and stuff like that, you can just see something new every day.
Right.
Whereas with this, it's like, okay, so I just drove 30 minutes. I paid $8 to go into this park, which was cool. It's a nice park. They had a little boardwalk, they had the pier, and then the ocean and a beach. And then I went up to this other place and I pulled in there, walked out there, and there's the ocean and there's a beach and there's another pier. And then I'm, where I'm staying, and I walk out and there's an ocean and there's a beach,
Yep.
There was nothing special to see, in my opinion, but I'm not taking away from the fact that I stayed in a place that was on the ocean, because Sunday, like I said, I literally almost went nowhere except to get gas, and it was wonderful. It just, I think lots of mini golf places. Pirates must be a thing down there. lots of mini golf places with pirate themes. I'm thinking that's a big deal. I did see the strip club. They had the Playhouse playing as I'm driving by, and I'm going to dinner, and I'm like, oh wait, Playhouse. They're like, yeah, big sign says Playhouse playing here, and whatever the name of it was. I'm like, the strip club is not stupid.
Right. They're
gonna get their clientele on that Sunday. Don't worry. Come watch some titties and watch some football.
Right.
But no, it was nice. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that I could. I think it would be too many fucking people around there doing the touristy thing, and that's just not my deal. I would rather, and that's, I think, is the, I don't know, I was going to say weird part, but I don't know. Maybe I've grown up to the fact that I don't care about that touristy shit anymore. I want to see nature shit, and that's really what the Ozarks were. I just saw this natural beauty everywhere I fucking went, But I liked it, man. I had a great time. It was nice. Good. But it's same as I always say when I go into a town. I saw every bar. I saw every liquor store. I saw every place like that. It's like I could see all these. It's got to be just a monstrous party atmosphere. It's got to be crazy down there. Just crazy. But it's nice. I mean, I wouldn't shy away anyone from going there, but I would highly recommend, if you find some place to stay on the ocean, find your beach. It's warm weather. Man, I could have spent the entire time just hanging out on the beach and doing nothing. Kind of like what you guys do in Mexico, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. So you're going down there when? You said the end of May?
Yeah, probably. We're trying to organize because one of Chris's sons lives near there in North Carolina. So, yeah, we're all trying to figure out when we all get together and hang out for a long weekend.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and there was when I was looking at, and I know I saved it, but there was a couple of places in North Carolina that I looked at. Myrtle Beach I kept getting drawn to that. I think just because the number of places. Oh shit, the road that I stayed on, it's all vacation shit like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
When you go up a little bit more into the town area of like North Myrtle Beach and a little bit north of that, I saw a couple of places I think were single family homes, but most of them have vacation rental,
Mhm.
all the way up and down. And some, looked really nice, and some look like just fucking shacks, but
Nice.
all over the place up there. So yeah, it's just that's why I'm saying I can't even imagine the number of people. Ugh. And you know what? I'm not an antisocial person, but I just felt like, when you're trying to walk through a crowd and you're like, I just want to fucking walk to where I'm going. I'm
Right.
trying to go to the goddamn fucking grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
I need eggs. I want to
Right.
get out of my way. And then, ooh, look at the ocean. That's fine.
Right.
But no, it was a good time. And then coming back, no big deal. I did go back through Virginia and West Virginia, and yeah, that drive did not disappoint. What I would like to do, I'd like to drive down there whenever there. I know our leaves peak at like mid to late October.
Right.
I don't know if theirs are later than that, but
I believe so.
yeah, I would think so. But I would love to try to figure out when those leaves change down whatever highway I went down through those mountains in West Virginia and into Virginia. I'd love to make that drive again in the fall because I think it would just blow my fucking mind.
Right.
I'd be like, oh my god, do you see those leaves? See, look at what we've turned into. Oh my god, it's leaves, the moon, like we were talking to Heidi about, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, I recommend it, man. It was a good trip, long drive, but the surprising part was, I don't know if that's the longest drive I've ever taken. I took a couple when I was younger, but it's been a while since I've driven that long straight, and I didn't get tired at all while I was driving, which was amazing, So surprising in a good way.
Right.
So yeah, but all right. Any questions for me, Mike, about my trip? Back to you.
No, none.
I didn't think so. But hey, you know what? Looking at the time, I think it is back to you, right?
It is back to me. So is this us or is this our friends?
Yeah, this is Elise and our friends again.
All right. Well, pay attention because it's not just us this time. This is a bigger thing. A power greater than us, if you will. Pay attention to this, and we'll be right back after these words from our good friends.
Hey, I'm Alexandra Nyman from the Break Free Foundation.
And I'm Elise Bryson from the Sober Curator.
Join us on February 12th at the Prince George Ballroom for Break Free at New York Fashion Week, an immersive experience that blends art, design, and fashion with advocacy.
See and hear from models and designers, including Lady Cat and Troublous Designs, who are raising awareness for mental health and recovery through their love of fashion and design.
All proceeds will support the Break Free Foundation, who provides scholarships for those seeking treatment for substance use disorder. Get more information at www.breakfreefoundation.org.
All right, everyone, welcome back. And that was very nice. That was a nice one.
Yeah,
very nice.
I'm done.
No, you still gotta, whatever time you sign off of here, you still gotta do your fuck off. So you're,
oh, okay. Well, that I got in me. Don't worry about that.
You're funny. That I got in me. But yeah, like I said, it's I think you'll enjoy it. You'll have a good time. Just watch the traffic. So
well, I mean, it's gonna be hanging with family. So that's right. That's why I'm going.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So all right. So the other thing that this week, and I just want to talk about the funeral thing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So and I posted it on Instagram when we got back on Wednesday, because it just kind of these thoughts came over me, and so I just posted on it. And the main thing was to just give a little bit of background. The person who died was my ex mother-in-law. So my daughter's mom, Pam, who I've talked about plenty on here,
Sure.
and so it was her mom that passed away, and there's a little bit of a backstory on that, which I don't even know if you know, Mike, but so Pam and Dawn are, and her sister Dawn, not my ex-wife Dawn, but she's got
Right.
a sister Dawn, and then brother Dean, and then they have their brother Ben, who came from Carol and her dad. So their real mom died when Pam was 8, I think. Dean probably would have been, I don't know, 10 or 12. And
Hmm.
then Dawn was only like 6 months old when their real mom died. Okay. And
Okay.
she had cancer and
Hmm.
ovarian cancer, and died. And, kind of a big thing because, obviously went through the pregnancy and had birth 6 months prior, and then it wasn't detected right away, and it was bad, and she died. So, her dad, I don't remember when he met Carol, is the one who just passed away, probably
Hmm.
within 3 to 5 years, I think.
All right.
And then they got married, and they had Ben, and Ben is in his like mid 40s now, I think. So I mean, they were together forever.
Hmm.
But I mean, she was there, although not the three of them, Dean, Dawn, and Pam, not their biological mom.
Hmm.
Literally was their mom for years.
Sure.
So, I just didn't know. I don't know. There was probably no reason for you and I to even ever have that conversation, but also Carol came from this side of the family, of people that we went to high school with. So it
Hmm.
was funny when like Pam and I got together and found all these people that related, and then like weddings and get-togethers. It was like almost getting together with a bunch of people from high school at times, and it kind of was here. We saw some of that family, but so she was. I mean, she was obviously a big part of my life for several years. Pam
Hmm.
and I were together, I don't know, 8 years, whatever it was, and always kind to me. Her dad was. And still is. I mean, he was always good to me, but is still good to me.
Hmm.
So it was never in my thought when I found out that she got sick, whenever it was, she had cancer, maybe in the last year, 6 months, whenever it was. And it
Hmm.
was my thought. I mean, whenever, gosh forbid, it's going to happen, but whenever it does, I'd like to be there. Number one, because she was part of my life, but also for my daughter, and then that whole side of
Sure.
the family. But the thing that I had posted on Instagram was that, that none of this stuff, me being there, obviously the event would have happened one way or the other, but me being there, doesn't happen if I'm not sober, and doesn't happen if my daughter doesn't give me that second chance,
Hmm.
when I'm 2 years sober, whenever the hell it was.
Right.
Because, at that time, so she and I start rebuilding our relationship, and then my ex and I do, and then, I know the family starts, and then her, Dawn, Pam's sister, friends me on Facebook, and then a couple other family members do, and then I see them at events and other things like that, and you walk in there, and I don't know. I mean, these people clearly have heard all the bad shit that I did,
Right.
and I don't know what I'm walking into, but all of them, had taken me back in, which is really cool, and unnecessary on their part. They don't need to
Hmm.
do that,
Sure.
but it was just I was grateful, that, and this is just I guess a generalized story about that this ripple effect that you and I always talk about. So anyone that's listening, and whether you're new or whether you're working on or struggling with trying to get family back,
Hmm.
just if you keep doing the right thing, in
Hmm.
spite of yourself, in spite of
Hmm.
myself, all these people, I came back into their good graces, almost with no work on my own part, with the exception of just continue to do the right thing and be a better person. I have to beg people to come back into my life. It just happened,
Yeah.
which is amazing to me still. Again, how does this
Hmm.
shit happen? Go back to the reading, how does any of this fucking shit work, right?
Right.
But so, Kathy went with us too, because obviously Kathy's known the family, of course, and always knew the
Hmm.
family. So, so we get there and we walk in and we saw Kimmy and Brian right away, and they had the pictures and the receiving line, and it was Ben, and then Dawn and Pam, and then Dean, and then their dad. So, I walked up to Ben and, gave him a hug, and, every one of them thanked me for being there. And I'm like, you don't have to
Hmm.
thank me, man.
Right.
I mean, you just don't, but, you're welcome. But I wouldn't have missed this with, if I unless I didn't have the opportunity, I wouldn't have missed this. So, then Dawn, and I know Dawn really well. She's a sweetheart. I'm hugging Pam, too, and she's making sure she's okay. And same thing with Dean. And then I get to her dad, and her dad's like, her dad always called me Billy, so he's just like, he gets tears in his eyes, and he's just like, thank you so much, for being here. And I was just like, fuck me.
Right.
in the best possible way.
Right.
Fuck me, because this man, I mean, he's a good dude. He really is a good dude. I got nothing ever. I don't think I've ever had anything bad to say to them or about them. All the shit that we went through. They never did anything bad to me.
Right.
But then got to see some aunts and uncles that I recognized but couldn't remember their names. I'm like, was that Aunt June? Was that Aunt? I'm asking Kimmy. She's like, which one? I'm like, I don't know. They all come up to me like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Right.
But I'm glad we were there, and I know that again, it probably sounds weird to a lot of people. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But shit, it's just This is a testament of what you and I always talk about. We do all these things and all these relationships and all these people, and then we get to be there, for people.
Right.
And actually, the people that it's not just like, oh fuck, Kimmy's dad's here.
Yeah, right. Oh Christ, who invited him?
Yeah, and if there would have been any question in my mind how this entire family felt about me, I wouldn't go because I wouldn't want to fuck up a moment like that, But I knew I was cool to go,
Right.
But that's the point, But it's everything we talk about. It was beautiful. I'm glad I was able to be there. And, and like anything else, death is the inevitable thing it's going to happen to everyone.
Right.
And all that we can do is be there for people, and having that ability. I mean, fuck, what more can we ask? Right.
Right.
So,
yeah. Cool. Nice.
Yeah. It was a day. Oh, Ollie was there too. So, cause,
Right.
well, Kimmy was going to take him had it been closer, but I mean, it was down in Waukesha, which is, it's a couple hours away from hour and a half, hour 45 from where they live. So she wouldn't have had time to get back to the person who does her daycare with them. But, and he was okay, but he was going nuts every once in a while. And it was kind of funny, but he was having his moments. But then he was just go walking around and big old smile on his face. Hi. He go walking up to people. Hi. And Kimmy's like, she's like, he thinks that everyone's here for him. And
of course.
He's just walking around like, oh, all these people are here to see me.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, it's a wonderful example of what we used to be like. Everybody's here for me, right? Yeah. We were goddamn emotionally retarded. We were, year and a half, almost 2 years old in our heads. Yeah. Everybody's here for me. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, that's that's actually a damn good way to put it. Yeah, because he's a month and a half away from his 2-year anniversary.
Yep,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what an alcoholic is.
Right,
this is a 1.5-year-old walking around in a man or woman's body, going, "Hey, look at me! This is all about me!" La 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 la. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and thankfully, we're not that way anymore. We're there for other people.
Exactly. Yeah, not walking around drooling, screaming, and wanting to know where their drink is.
Yep.
And after his milk was gone, he's trying to snacks. He doesn't want that. And he was fine though. And then we went and grabbed pizza at a restaurant that Ben used to work at, but a restaurant in Delafield that's been around for fucking ever, kind of a high school hangout place too. So it was cool. It was nice.
Nice.
But yeah, like I said, it was just I don't know. It's just this wave of almost gratitude that came across me as we got back, and I was just like, you know what, that's, again, it's a weird way to say it, but it was cool. I'm just glad to be a part of in a positive way.
Absolutely. So glad you could be there for somebody else, and yes, positive. Right. Add to don't take away from it. Yep.
Right. So we were at the restaurant. So Dean's wife, so Dean is Pam's brother, his wife Leslie, again, person we went to high school with. We've known her forever. I don't know. We were talking back and forth about something, and she's like, "Oh, you never come around again? You never invite me out for drinks or anything like that?" And I'm like, well, because I don't drink anymore. And she looks at me, and I'm like, I've been sober for almost 14 years. And she's like, really? She's like, oh wait, I knew that. And she's like, but you never invite me out for coffee. I'm like, yeah, you got me there.
Right.
But it was just kind of funny when she said that. She's like, oh, that just didn't click. I mean, I don't see them that much, but
Right. Yeah. Again, it's not all about you.
right. Yeah, it was not. It was not. But yeah, like I say, just to wrap up everything I've been already saying. It was good to be there for other people. So.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think that's those are my two big things. Yeah, I start my job on Monday, but that's nothing big.
Right.
It is what it is. It took the time that it took. The frustration I've already talked about, but yeah, they shipped all the computer equipment and everything, and so I got all that and got everything all set up and logged into the things that I need to, and then start on Monday. So
all right.
Yeah, on the right road. And like I said, the biggest thing with this whole thing is that fully remote, no residency restrictions. So kind of once I get my financial shit back in order and kind of get my feet back under me, then I can go wherever the fuck I want to.
Nice.
Exactly. Nice. Thank you. Nice.
Yep.
But yeah. So all right. Anything else on anything? I mean, I know that's a lot of my shit that we talked about, but anything else on your mind? Because I got other things I got a whole bunch of shit that I can pick away at here.
I got nothing on my mind.
All right, that's kind of
a long week. I'm tired. Yeah. Right. Might have a couple of local people to come on the show with us eventually. One in particular, Chris. Did I mention it on here? I don't know if I did, but 2 weeks ago she started working for the city of Cleveland.
Oh, Chris did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You know who her boss is?
Who?
Alfonso.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's been trying to get it in there for a while. He was like, yeah, she's sharp. She's a good worker. I want her working for me. And so it finally happened. So anyway, she told him the other day, yeah, you need to come on the podcast. And apparently, his home group is Friday night. And she's all, well,
right.
They can record other days. They could do you on Thursday. So we might be getting Al on here.
Well, she should have just said, hey, Michael's already come on and blew out the meeting. Megan's already come on and blew out the meeting. It's kind of our thing. That's our thing to pick people out of Gordon Square. So
right.
But yeah, the only thing that Thursday night for me now, well, I don't think if we did it late, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, because with the cool part is with the new job, and I found out for sure when I talked to the manager that I'm going to have, they offer the ability to take half-hour lunches during the week, and they let everyone out at 3:00 on Friday. So I can do Fridays or never, and I heard that from the recruiter that had contacted me, and I verified that, because I'm like, I kind of have a Friday commitment that would help,
Right.
But it wouldn't be a big deal. I could still work around the Thursday. I mean, it's just same thing. I mean, if we did it, I could still do it. It's not a problem. We can work it out. Either way, I mean, if we get Al on there, that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I didn't know he worked for the city.
He does, yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly, but
he's kind of a big deal down there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I don't even know that I've ever known what he did.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he works for the city of Cleveland. And now so does Chris.
Well, that's good. Well, Chris, if you happen to listen to this, congratulations, young lady.
Right.
Yeah. But so you had posted something on a picture on Facebook I saw right before we came on here. Did somebody pass?
Yeah, Brother Wayne Kramer from the MC5.
Okay.
Yeah. He 75 years old, passed today. Former junkie. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. He actually wrote a book a couple years ago. It's pretty damn good, called The Hard Stuff. Yeah, he was hard. I mean, he went to, prison for a while. Good long while, and turned his ass around, and he actually had a really cool charity that he worked, for the past probably close to 10 years, getting guitars into jails.
Really?
So the guys had stuff to do and make music and shit. And plus, just Google Wayne Kramer, man. The guy had a storied career, MC5, the Motor City 5. Rock and roll legend, man. And he passed away today.
Yeah, and I just saw I don't remember why I popped on the Facebook real quick, but I saw that picture and I'm looking at it, I'm like, who? I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this another one of our fucking buddies that died? Because I'm
No.
looking at him like I see that, I'm like, okay, I gotta ask.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of us, but
Right.
you never met him.
No, I know. And you must have been at some show or something like that where he was.
It was actually the Cleveland International Film Festival.
Huh.
And the Cream Magazine documentary was showing, and we went and saw it. And after the screening, fucking brother Wayne Kramer came walking out, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" So yeah, got to spend a good 5 minutes with him one time, and I've seen him play several times. So
right,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool. I mean, not that he died, but I mean, that's cool that you had the chance to meet him and stuff like that, and. So he's 75. I mean, that's a decent enough run. So
right,
but
still. Considering,
right,
he should have been dead fucking 40 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the thing. When it's like all of us, it's like, yeah, it's a good run, especially because
right,
what the fuck we did to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so we could have Al on. You said maybe somebody else, huh?
Oh yeah, I ran into Wes about a couple months ago.
Shit.
Yeah, I mentioned it to him, and he seemed to go for it. So I got to reach out to him here pretty soon too. And yep, he'll be, and God knows Wes will be a good guest. So there you go.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's my first question for that motherfucker is why he unfriended me on Facebook.
He's not on there anymore.
No, I know. I haven't seen it. It was, I think, shit. I might even still been in Cleveland when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people do that. I don't give a fuck. I was just gonna fuck with them, but yeah. So Wes was, he was a fucking badass and a good dude though, and came in. When did he come in? Was that July? Is this
summer? Yeah, right around the time Michael came in. Yeah,
that's what I thought. So yeah, June or July is his sobriety date. But yeah, he's one of those the group of guys, the 10 or so that are left, that have been sober as long as us. But yeah, he's a fucking badass. Scared the fuck out of me. I mean, there's a few people that scared me, but yeah, he did until I really got to know him, and then I could fuck with him, and every once in a while I'd say some wild shit to him around a group of people, especially younger guys and new guys that came in and. They'd kind of look at me and like, he's going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, we're cool now.
Right.
We're cool now. But that'd be awesome, man. I haven't seen, I think the last time that I saw him, it was at a meeting someplace that you and I were at. We just had, it was random, that we walked into him, or ran into him. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Work it out. Finally, now I can say that to you for once. Yeah, fucking work it out, man.
Yeah, whatever. I'll get to it when I get to it.
I know, just fucking with you. All right, so one that I heard, this was a podcast thing. Person said, I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm pro-awareness. What do you think about that?
Well, that's kind of what we're supposed to do. Yeah. Right. Pro-awareness. Sure. I mean, I'm not anti-alcohol. I don't know how, what a big fan I am of awareness either. Clearly.
Right.
Went most of my life trying not to be aware. Just because I'm sober doesn't mean I want to be all that aware. I do like being, aware of my surroundings, but I think a little too much awareness is not all that good of a thing either.
But I think the way it was, if I remember correctly, and kind of the way that I heard it is making other people aware of, what either sobriety could do or, I looked at it more as the attraction rather than promotion type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Awareness that way, the opposite, not us being aware, but other people being aware of, maybe the effects of alcohol, what it could do and that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right.
but then again, I just say there's so many people, and I see it a lot on Instagram, obviously, and everyone's quoting the statistics and the poison and the this and that.
Well, it's rotten food.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's what it is. It's rotten corn and rotten grain and spoiled food.
Right. Okay. And I get all that. Right. And I get all of it,
And it makes you feel real fucking good.
Right. But
Right.
in the thing of it is, and you and I have been just so clear about that we're not standing up on a rooftop or even a small chair and trying to denounce alcohol. It's
Nah.
just that we're sober. We can, they can, or they can, and we can't.
Right.
And granted, I mean, yeah, there's all the studies and the facts, and if people really want to look at it, it's just like anything else. It's like smoking. It's like fast food. It's like anything that's out there that there is some sort of harm, let's say, to our
Mm-hmm.
bodies.
Mm-hmm.
People know about it, and if people keep doing it, they keep doing it. I mean, I'm not
Right.
going to go, I'm not going to go after people just because they drink and I don't. So
Yeah.
I like the mindset of saying that it's what, and I think what we do is kind of get, if you really broke it down, I mean, we're not preaching against alcohol. We're not preaching in general.
No.
But if you had to go on one side of it, we're providing awareness on what we went through, what could happen to other people, and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So attraction rather than that either promotion or, denouncing, the product or alcohol or drugs or anything like that. So,
well, I think I just said it makes you feel really fucking good.
right.
Right. So,
Right.
Just, we're selfish and self-centered and we have an allergy against it. Once we start, we can't stop. And but again, it really comes down to we're selfish and self-centered and we want to fucking feel good all the goddamn time. We want to feel really good all the time. And that's just stupid.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But alcohol itself is what it is. Yeah. It's probably not good for you, but like you said, there's lots of things that aren't good for you. So what?
Right. Yeah. The people, and I know I've said this before, but the people that are, all over the alcohol and the people that are drinking and stuff like that, are probably shoving a fucking Big Mac into their face and,
Mm-hmm.
just ate a Snicker bar a minute ago. And,
Right.
maybe they're vaping, I mean,
Right.
it's,
Well, my favorite was, junkies that were vegetarians. I just looked at them and went, okay, man, cool for you. I don't eat meat. I'm shooting heroin, but I don't eat meat. Okay, you're fucked up.
Yeah, that seems, it's a little bit of a, the funny thing though, and I can't remember who, I was listening to, and I've talked about Dax Shepard before, and I was listening to a bunch of his different episodes because he interviews celebrities like Mark Maron and like Smartless does and all that. And it was just a string of people that were interesting that I popped in and listened to, but I forget which. There was somebody either on his podcast that was talking about that or whatever that was, basically like compensating, completely 100% healthy in every way, but, raging alcoholic and doing drugs and things like that. And the person said, kind of in hindsight, they were probably doing that almost as a, I don't know, trying to compensate in their mind. I'm all healthy here, so I can do all these things type of thing. I don't know. I mean, if you're shooting heroin, we're all delusional, regardless of what we're doing.
Thank you. That's it. We're fucking all delusional.
See,
rationalizing and justifying anything.
That was like me just doing a math problem on a piece of paper, and I just came to the answer. I'm like, okay, there it is.
Yep.
I worked out that problem as I was talking about it. So okay, problem solved. Okay, so on another podcast, where did it go? God damn it. Do you think, and they were talking about this from in a kind of a general sense, but for you, Mike,
yes,
do you think that you made any mistakes when you first got sober, or things that you did or didn't do that you would change if you had the chance? Or, these are just my thoughts, possibly, I don't know if I want to say words of wisdom, but any sort of advice or direction that you would give to somebody new. So once again, any mistakes that you think you made when you first got sober, things you did or didn't do that you would change if you had the chance?
Absolutely not. Did I make mistakes? And oh, fuck, hell yes, all the time. Still do. But they're there for a reason. That whole higher power crap. You got to go through what you got to go through to get to where you are, no matter what it is. Yeah, of course I made mistakes. Do I regret them? No, because I don't even fucking remember them. But I know I made them, and again, I still do. But they're mistakes apparently I need to make to get to where I'm at here. I can't change the past. That's crazy talk. That's
crazy talk.
It is. Yeah, that's not the way I live today. I don't dwell on the past. I don't I don't dwell on the mistakes I've made. I made mistakes, and either I fixed them, or I moved past them, or I learned from them, or I didn't, or again, all I got is right now, right in this very second. That's all I have. And that was one that I learned. Yes, early sobriety, any words of wisdom? Yeah, you're going to fuck up. So what? We all do. Get over it. You're not that fucking important. I know I'm not.
Right. But so the reason I wrote that down, and in the person that was talking about it, did go back and say, well, I should have done this more, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would this would came to me sooner, and this and that. And the reason that I wrote it down is first of all, I knew what your answer was going to be, because I think we've talked about it before.
Right.
If nothing else, you and I have talked about this before.
Sure.
And we talked about this subject in a general sense. That much I know for sure. But I thought it was worth repeating, and sometimes I kind of bait you on these things because I think it's important to repeat. I
like
to
be baited.
I was gonna say baited by a master.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. but no, seriously, I did know what your answer was going to be, and I thought about it too. So I've been very open about the fact, and you were there. You saw every bit of how angry I was when I came in. So I could easily say that, I wish I would have come in with more willingness and less anger, or I was so stubborn. I was literally to the point where I'm like, fuck all these people. I'll stay, but I'm not talking. I'm going to cross my arms, and I'm not going to say a fucking word. Right. These people, you people, which I hate that. I hate that phrase. You people can talk all you want. I'm not saying a goddamn word.
Which is what we're told to fucking do.
Right.
Take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. You were doing the right thing and didn't even know it.
Yeah, it's almost, not as extreme as Tony trying to, work the steps to the best of his ability to prove him wrong. But I literally went in there with this obstinate stance of like, fuck you people,
Yeah,
I'll listen, but I ain't doing nothing. Well, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to share. Which my stubbornness literally saved my life. You know, and in the point of coming in angry like that, there was no other way for me at that point. I don't think that I could have been. So, you ever watch the show? No, I know you haven't watched Yellowstone, but I'm sure you heard of it with Kevin Costner and whatever. So I started watching it because I had to get to watch one of the playoff games. It was only on Peacock, so I actually paid for a month and I started watching it. So I'll probably end up paying for that fucking thing forever now. But anyhow, so it's on there, and I started watching it. This just popped into my head. So it's the short version. It's a family. They're on a ranch. They have horses, okay, and they get some of these wild horses. And that's not the point of the show, but it's to make.
No, I think it is. But go ahead.
Right. It's a cowboy soap opera. Is really what it is.
Right.
I enjoy it, but it's a cowboy soap opera. So they have to break these horses come in, and you can't ride them. They're bucking and they're doing all these different things. They got to break them, and this horse doesn't know any fucking better. This horse has just been wherever. It's all fucked up, and the horse is going to learn, but they're just going to keep riding your ass until you learn, so, and this literally just popped into my head. I'm like this fucking mean ass fucking angry horse when I came in, and they just fucking trained me, they kept running me until I got too fucking tired to throw somebody off again, and I wouldn't want to change that because that's what I needed, if I would have tried to, I can't think of, first of all, the circumstance with our dad dying. Granted, you and I talked through this on here that maybe at that moment I can't think of anything else that would have brought me into this, the sobriety thing. Maybe at some point something else would have, but that moment and that act or that event and the whole fact that I was all fucked up in my head and I'm angry and I don't want to be here. That's what I needed to be there. I don't know what it would have taken, if somebody said you can't come in here until you settle down.
That would have been one empty fucking place if that was the case. Right.
I would have been
none of you guys can come in here until you settle down. What?
Settle down, calm down. You need to be a better human being and not be so angry. Then you can walk in the door.
Right.
No. Come in here like some some wild fucking animal, and we are going to break you in the best way possible. I don't mean that in a negative way, you know, but they did. They broke down all of my walls. They broke down all of my fears. They broke down all of my, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Anything that might have been holding me back got broken in that Keating Center, and probably those first few months. Now, I still didn't get it. You know, I still walked around like a fucking fool for 9 months until my friend Mike saved me. You know, with one simple word. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just fucking simple. That's all it is. Yep.
But you know what I mean? And so I knew for a fact, you know, exactly what you were going to say, but I thought it was worth repeating. But yeah, as far as the words of wisdom was just my afterthought with that. And same thing, exactly I don't remember exactly what you said, but those are perfect. I'm not going to try to top it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. We're all going to fuck up. We're going to continue to fuck up. Just keep walking through it, man.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to do this thing right. Well, again, the only step we have to do perfectly is the first one. The rest of them we're not going to do perfectly. It's okay. Just do them anyway. Yes. Get the results.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any regrets and we've talked about it endlessly, but in a good way, that all this shit we did, all of the garbage that we went through, you know, we just talked about it last week with you know, with the on the last week's episode, you know, with them that I mean, Amanda and Ginny.
Yeah.
God, for a minute, like names escape me. I'm sorry, ladies, if you happen to listen to this. Maybe it's been a long week for me too. But you know, the same thing. Everything has worth now. Our worthlessness has worth, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we said?
Exactly. and even in sobriety, the mistakes we made and stuff, we can, you know, help somebody else. Yeah, you're making that. Hey, I made that mistake too. It's okay. You know, we're still sober. It's all right. You move along. Yes.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah. No regrets. Of course not. Regrets are for suckers.
Right. Write that down, everyone.
Right.
Put that on a t-shirt. Regrets are for suckers. So the next one in line here, and I don't, it's from Keep It Simple, but it said the action said, today I'll go over my step 1 to remind myself that it's no accident that I'm an addict. So, I mean, we talk about that. We obviously go, you know, both of us do steps, like you say, 1, 2, and 3 before you even get out of bed.
Yep.
But the reason I wrote that down is saying that remind myself that it's no accident. I mean, do we, I was trying to think in my head when I wrote this down, do I think it's an accident that I am who I am? I mean, that was my question. Do you think it's an accident that you ended up where you are? Or do you think it was, I don't know. I don't want to say meant to be, but I don't know that it was an accident, or I've never looked at it that way.
No, of course not. And that's verging on being a victim, and fuck that.
That's, you know what? Thank you. I couldn't figure out why that bothered me. And even when I was reading it right now, I'm like, why the fuck did I write this down? Why did it bother me? But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't want to be a victim.
Yeah, it's verging on being a victim. Oh, it was an accident. Oh, something happened to me from outside that made me an addict or a drunk or whatever. No, I mean, I am. And yes, you know, we've talked about this before too. You know, were we born this way? Is it hereditary? Is it behavioral? Doesn't fucking matter. Right. I am. I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. So, okay, then what?
Right.
Yeah. An accident. Shut up.
And seriously, until you just said that, I couldn't figure out why. As I was reading it, I'm like, why the fuck did I write this down? But then as I'm reading it, I'm like, why does that bother me?
Right.
But yeah, you got that. Thank you. See, once again, this is why Mike and I come together and talk about this shit, because I couldn't figure out that it was trying to make me say I was a victim. I ain't no fucking victim.
That's right. I have a disease. So what?
Yeah,
and
but even
thankfully, I found the solution, the cure.
Right.
But
I mean, I agree 100%. Even I agree that it's a disease, but even with that, I'm like, fuck it. It's, you know, when people are like, well, it's, you know, it's a disease. I can't help myself. Well, it doesn't even matter that it's a disease. It is what it is. We are what we are.
Yep.
Yes, it's a disease, and yes, we have to deal with it. But that's the whole point, you know. So I don't know. But yeah, well, thank you. I know. Fucking
no problem.
Victim.
That's right.
Yeah. Fuck you and your fucking victim shit. Let's hang on one second here. Okay. So one from I read a lot of this shit down from these books, and I'm just trying to figure out. There's a couple of these. That doesn't really fucking matter. 24-hour book. There was a series of questions like, have I admitted I'm an alcoholic? Like, have I admitted I'm an alcoholic? Do I have any reservations about that, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
And then this, in quotes, I have, am I absolutely honest with myself and with other people? Did we already talk about that? The honesty part?
I mean, yeah, I think we have probably
I think we
lots
did.
of different forms. Right. And then there's the gratuitous honesty. Yeah, clearly if I'm honest with myself about it, I, again, have this disease, blah, 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 blah. Right. But the gratuitous honesty is walking around going, I'm an alcoholic in every fucking situation. No, of course not. Yeah. That's putting your shit on somebody else. And it's also, nobody cares. You're not that fucking important. Once again, I mean, if I've asked a direct question, yes, I'm going to answer it honestly, but I'm not going to volunteer it to someone whose business it isn't.
Right. Yeah, just same thing. When I read that, I'm like, some of these things, as I write them down or as I'm reading them, I'm like, God, did we actually talk about that before? But no, I agree. Yeah, we don't need, not everyone needs to know. It's kind of like those insurance commercials, about people getting older and becoming their parents.
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to say this shit to everyone. Not to everyone all the time. All the time. So
no, of course not. That's right. When we were out there being active in our stuff, everybody knew anyway. Yeah. And now that we're acting like normal people, like you said, you went to a funeral with a bunch of normal people that were actually genuinely cared about somebody else, all on their own. Imagine that. Yeah, we act like we do. We really don't, but we act like it. And that's enough.
Right.
Yep.
All right, and I've got one more. So this was also from Keep It Simple. It said, help me find ways to stay a beginner in the program.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that means that we need to stay a beginner? Or how do we stay a beginner? Where it says, help me find ways to stay a beginner in the program. What are your thoughts on that? And I guess what does that mean to you and I on coming up on almost 14 years?
Right. Keeping an open mind. Yes, we've got this thing down fairly well. There's no denying that. The tools are fairly sharp and polished up, and we use them, and that's a good thing. But I still have to keep an open mind. I can't allow myself, my ego, to tell me that I've got this thing, because clearly I don't. I have, on a daily basis, I have to work it. And so, yes, keeping an open mind is really the big one for me, and reminding myself that there's still more to learn with this thing. I'm not done growing. I'm not done evolving. I don't have it all down. I have a wonderful foundation, and that's okay to admit that and know that. But I'm not done yet is basically it. I'm grateful I'm not a beginner. I'm grateful I'm not that fucked up 30 days into this. What the hell am I going to do next? I kind of know what I'm going to do next, and that's a good thing. I know what to do next. But I also, again, have to be open to learning new things, reminding myself I don't have this down completely. The foundation's great, but I still have to keep building on that foundation. Otherwise, I become stagnant, and that's not a good thing either. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm not that, 2 weeks into this thing, fucking twitching still, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually twitching. The twitches are gone, but I'm not done building. That's all that means to me.
Right. What's funny is that like when I told you after I got down to South Carolina, after I literally been up for 24 hours, and like I said, I mean, I forgot why the fuck did I it's like I bent down to either I wasn't even tying my shoe. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but picked something off the ground, drops it, whatever it was, and literally kind of lost my, like I said, my equilibrium, so
Right.
fucking off. And when I walked into I walked into there was a firehouse, Subs, which it's one of my favorite places to go, and I had taken a drive down to see where the place was that I was staying, and then came back up and was looking for a place and found it. And I walked in there, and after I ordered, I was sitting down, and it occurred to me that I had this flashback in my mind from, times when I would either be out late and then it's up early and I'm sitting someplace or whatever. Because like I said, you get this. When when you're drinking coffee for 24 hours and you haven't slept, I mean, it takes a little bit of a weirdness on your body. And that I felt like this, like I did back then, and it was I felt a little bit better after I ate, and not that I didn't eat anything on the way down, because I'd have, a couple of things here and there, but that was like the first real food that I had, but I ate a big dinner before I left. But, it just reminded me of, again, just how I felt back then. And then going to that meeting, and the fact that, I just thought about that when you had said that, like 2 weeks in or whatever it was, and walking into that meeting, and I suppose there could have been two different ways I could have looked at, the fact that they announced it's like, oh yeah, this is a beginner's meeting. I could have been, fuck me,
right.
Or what my reaction was, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Because I've been to a beginner's meeting in a long time, so I'm like, okay, this is fun, And then, seeing some of these people I got 21 days, and, as they're doing the count up, I got 47 days today. And one person's like counting up and like, okay, yeah, it's day 72 today. And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't really remember that far back, but I do.
Sure.
I don't remember exactly what I felt like at day 72, but I know where I was, and again, that, like you said, possibly the feeling of loss and confusion and all those different things, but also, some of the excitement, and I saw both of those things, people that were just, drawn out, and then other people that were just like the one chick, I think she said this was a nude meeting, and she said that was her fourth meeting that day.
Wow.
And she was 21 days sober. She's like, I've been having a rough time. She's like, I've just been going to meetings all day, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, wow, but good for you,
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, just, kind of like just keeping, like you said, neither one of us like the whole term of the idea of, oh, you got this, man, and this and that. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No.
But the other thing that I just thought about when you were talking was when I was in Florida, which was when I was down there for that 3 weeks with Courtney and Chris,
Right.
and I think that was now 7 years ago.
Sounds about right.
I think. So, obviously almost split our sobriety in half, right? So I was about 7 years sober, 6 going on 7 years sober at that time. And when I went down there, although because Courtney and Chris, they knew I was sober. It was a safe environment. I did not feel uncomfortable with them, but I felt very compelled. I went to more meetings down there in that 3-week period than I would normally go to.
Right.
But I felt compelled to go to a meeting every day, where that wasn't the same as this time. I wanted to go to a meeting, not because it's not that I'm saying I don't need a meeting, because I could always use a meeting. I'm not stupid to think I can't, but the difference in this just occurred to me as you were talking, that when I was out of town before, I was nice meeting people and go to new places, but I felt compelled to do it. Whereas this way, I wanted to go and I wanted to be part of, and I don't know what that's called. Growth. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Well, I think it's you kind of use the words, man. It's the difference between needing a meeting and using a meeting.
Right.
Yeah. We kind of don't need meetings anymore, but we can certainly use one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it does. Meetings, they, especially at meeting new people and going to a new place like that. I have so much fun doing it. And I would have gone on Sunday, but I was just, and I bought eggs and I bought hash browns, and it was, fucking mid 80s. And I'm like, I'm sitting out on the balcony, just fucking sitting in the sun going, "Bleh." I'm like, I didn't take a fucking shower until, because the game started at what, 3:30, I think, or whatever it was, or 3.
Something like that.
I don't think I took a shower until like 2,
Nice.
Which I haven't done that in a long time either. And I was doing nothing. Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And it was
It's
everything I wanted it to be.
The Lord rested on Sunday too, It's okay.
So even though I'm not a God guy, I can rest like God.
Yes, exactly. Take what you can use and leave the rest.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So I could pick apart what I need and leave the rest. Okay,
that's right.
Pick out the good parts.
Before
I did too. All right. So on that mild bashing of God, why don't we wrap this motherfucker up?
All right. Well, you know what? We started off with Groundhog's Day, and we talked about doing meetings in other places. The movie Groundhog Day, right?
Right.
I was at one of my rare meetings out on the road. It was actually in Virginia, Northern Virginia. I remember that, in the Shenandoah Valley. And it's a real small meeting, but it was, I had to take a 36-hour rest because that was when I was out on the road for a long time. And so I went to this little tiny meeting in this little tiny town, and I'm talking with this guy there. And I don't know how it came up, but we were talking about Groundhog's Day. And he said that was his favorite recovery movie. And I was like, really? I'm looking at him. What the fuck are you talking about? But I've since watched it with that in mind. So if, it's going to be not Groundhog's Day when you hear this. But if you happen to watch it on Groundhog's Day, because I know they're showing it on cable, a bunch of different stations are showing it. If you happen to watch it, right? Bill Murray, right? Same thing over and over and over again. He's trying to control everything. He's trying to fix everything, and nothing's fucking changing. And it doesn't get good, and he doesn't get out of it until he starts working for other people.
Right.
Fucking recovery, man.
And now that you mention that, I don't remember it being tied into a meeting, but I think you've talked about that before. But you're right. And the funny part, I was actually last night. I thought about it. I'm like, I had time. I was gonna watch it last night, and it was on none of the. And I've got what feels like 1,000 streaming services, and it wasn't on fucking anything. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I could have bought it for I could have bought the movie for like $7.99,
right?
Which I probably just should have, because it's not like I wouldn't watch it every year for the rest of my life, because I like it. But when you mention that is true. He keeps doing the same things over and over, and selfish and self-centered and everything like that.
Right.
So
yeah, and he doesn't get out of it until he fucking lets go and actually starts working for the betterment of everything. His little society that he's in there in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania. And once he starts doing that, he gets the fuck out of it. Yep.
Well, and
he gets the girl.
Yeah, and he stops trying to take advantage of her too, and actually had fallen, from the romantic comedy side of things, had actually fallen in love with her, for who she was over that time frame, and then just stopped trying to, take advantage of the situation. He actually let things flow.
Yep, exactly.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
All right, so for all you motherfuckers out there that say we say nothing positive, there, fuck y'all, that was positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really positive. We talked about love too.
We did.
All right, man. Do your thing.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other. Go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. And now it is time, kids. It is that time. It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
Got some volume there. Yes, and also, since our listenership is draining a little bit, for anyone who listens, same thing we always ask. Tell one person to listen, or go on and give us a rating, give us a review or something like that. You don't have to buy any of our shit or donate any money. If you want to do all that, fine, but get somebody else to listen. If you are taking the time to listen to this podcast every single week, you hear me talk about other podcasts all the time, do the same thing.
Right.
There's podcasts that I listen to that I get value out of, and I try to tell you folks out there the same thing. So do that for us. We're trying to build this thing just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Right. Share this nonsense with some friends of yours or somebody you hate. Say, here, listen to this. It'll fucking drive you crazy for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we said that before. Yeah, bet somebody. They make this their punishment.
All right.
We'll get the statistic anyhow, so we don't give a fuck.
That's right. Let us verbally spank your friends.
Yeah. I like that.
Thank you.
All right, man. I love you, brother.
I love you too.
And and we will talk soon.
We shall.
All righty. Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.